Most self-improvement advice helps you to do one step at a time, 1% better, slow and steady. And this is a nice thing, but it's not a recipe for radical change. I mean, how much did you, as a person, actually change in the last 6 months on self-improvement? After my first 2 years, I was actually the exact same person like before, just with a few more meditation and working sessions on my tracking list. But this cannot be described as a real character change. There seemed to be this invisible force that hindered real progress. This force is the negative self-image, this voice that sits in the back of your head, whispering to you that you're weak, you're weird, and that you won't achieve anything. This inner bully is the result of our past programming. We've made a ton of experiences in our life that fed a certain self-image. These experiences might have been social awkwardness or lazy procrastination. And these experiences create a fear in us, like the fear of judgment, the fear of effort, or the fear of failure. And we perceive this collection of fears as the negative inner voice that sabotages our efforts on every step on the way. So what's the solution? How do we destroy our current self-image? After learning about the term self-destruction, I've realized that I self-destructed my past self-image without being aware of the concept. I've spent a lot of time alone to figure out how I want to approach life. It was like an exploration into my psyche and personality. I've tried to understand who I was and what the hell is going on inside my brain. In this time, I've deep dived into the concept of the personal hell. I thought and wrote about the most terrible life I could have. No family. Everyone hates me for a good reason. I procrastinate my entire life away. I indulge in fleeting pleasures. I'm addicted, lonely, in chronic pain, directionless, and the worst part, I know that all of this is my fault. Throughout my entire life, I always had this feeling of, hey, I want to live a great life by my own definition. It's impossible for me not to. But only the confrontation with my personal hell revealed to me what a great life actually looks like. A great life is the exact opposite of my personal hell. And then I had another realization. I have to stop one thing once and for all if I want to avoid my personal hell, which is self-deception. I have to be radically honest with myself on every step on the way and live with the mindset, truth above all else. At the beginning, this was a hard pill to swallow because it meant admitting a lot of bad and stupid things about me and my past. There were things that I knew were not entirely true, but I hid them from myself and avoided confronting them. But that was just the beginning. After I continued my self-exploration, I realized that more and more of what my mind produced was untrue, or at least fragmented and biased. There were so many hidden lies, so much social programming, and so much chatter which has accumulated over the last 20 years, that it was truly astonishing to realize that most of what I've constructed of myself was essentially dead wood. The gap between what you think you are and what you actually are is often bigger than we want to believe. But what you aim at determines what you see, and once you aim at detecting the lies of the mind, you'll see more and more of them. This is not the easiest process in the world, but it's worth it. Because if your map of the world, aka your mind, is not as congruent with the world as possible, you will inevitably fall into pitfalls all the time. You do not have the power to twist or distort reality without it snapping back at you. This always reminds me of the scene from Game of Thrones.
I will hurt you for this. A day will come when you think you're safe and happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth. And you will know the debt is paid.
This is the moment when you turn 30 and realize that you've wasted your 20s to escape a deeper problem. Or the moment you've done 5 years of shallow self-improvement, only to distract yourself from facing your own demons. Or the moment you've spent 3 years on TikTok because you were too afraid to go on only one long walk to ponder about the question, what you want out of life. It can be terrifying to realize one's own inadequacies, but the alternative of not realizing one's own inadequacies is even more terrifying. And this is where self-destruction comes into play. Exaggerated self-doubt and insecurities, and on the other side, pride and arrogance have no place in your life if you want to make radical improvement. All of us have these feelings in us, but they are made up lies from our minds that stem from our past programming. Our mind loves to create an entire story based on a few bad or good experiences, and pretends that these stories are absolutely true. Once you actively listen to your mind and look at your thoughts objectively, like they are the thoughts of another person, you would realize pretty quickly that 95% of them are essentially untrue garbage. In order to cut through the garbage, try this rule I abide by for quite a while. Stop saying things that make you weak. This does not mean that you should pretend that you are strong, or to pretend that you don't have any weaknesses. It means just exactly what it says. To stop saying things that make you worse off than before. To stop saying things that deny your capacity to improve. This is such a simple and logical rule to follow, but once you pay attention to this in the following days and weeks, you will be amazed by how much nonsense you believe. This rule will give you clarity of what is wrong with your current self-image, and it is the basis to destroy it, leaving only what is supporting your progress. It's similar to a phoenix transformation, and it's painful, but not making the transformation is over the long run even more painful. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth, because they don't want their illusions to be destroyed. So, the real question is, how much truth can I stand? Truth is something that burns. It burns off dead wood. So the question is, how much dead wood do you want to burn off? How many lies are you willing to detect? Steve Jobs said at his Stanford speech 20 years ago the following: "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important." These words have accompanied me for several years now, but only recently I really understood how I can live by this quote. We all want to be free of fear, but death is so far away that it does not seem to make a difference if we waste a few more years or not. A part of us wants to change, but we don't feel the devil at our heels, so we keep distracting ourselves. But what's not far away is your personal hell. It can be very real, very quickly. The system has always told you that the answers were out there in the education system, in jobs, in courses, and certain self-improvers amplify this belief by telling you that you should look for every single answer in their videos. They're pushing you to look outwards and continue to distract you from the real, uncomfortable thing, which is to face your own demons. Whoever, at any time, has undertaken to build a new heaven has found the strength for it in his own hell. When you face hell stretched across your entire life, your current self is tiny and insignificant in comparison, and all your whims and fears as well. Somebody said something mean to you? Who gives a fuck? Really? In the face of hell, 95% of your problems don't matter anymore. All your energy is needed to avoid hell. This is the only thing you will give a fuck about. It's an amazing ability of us humans to be able to go mentally through the worst possible nightmare, realizing what leads to this nightmare, and then using this knowledge to make a decision between hell and heaven in the real life. Most people don't think very deeply about their future, so they just stumble through life, which bargains the risk of ending up in the personal hell. But once you've outlined both of these options, you can make a conscious decision. And if you have any sense, you choose heaven over hell. And this is a decision we have to make throughout our entire life, on a daily, monthly, and yearly basis. Life is a transformative thing, and if we want to flourish in life, we have to be transformative as well. We have to self-improve to create our new character. But we also have to self-destroy our past self, the programming and everything that holds us back. Whatever you are looking for begins with a look inside yourself. As an action step, in the next month, go deep into your personal hell. Think and write about it. The pain of staying where you are has to be bigger than the pain of change. And then find the causes that would lead to this kind of life. Where do you engage in self-deception? Where do you avoid uncomfortable truths? What stories of your mind aren't congruent with the objective truth? Self-destruction means that if you want to grow, a part of you has to die. This was the missing puzzle piece in my self-improvement journey. And if you want the missing puzzle piece to this video, click on the screen about my video about identity shifting.